Hello and welcome to tonight's webinar. Once again, I'm your host, Sterling McKinley. I'm a digital marketing expert. And this webinar live stream is brought to you by the US Black Chambers and also the good folks at Grow with Google. So once again, I'm so happy that you're here tonight, taking this time to learn more about the products and services that Google offers. And this whole webinar live stream is sponsored by Grow with Google. Now, what is that program? So a few years back, they started a program where they provide skills, they provide training, webinars like this to teach everybody about how to use technology and how to use products. And I think that is so important right now because this world, it's getting more digital and digital by the day. And I believe the only way that you can continue to stand out as a company and as a business is to be digital, to be online, to be on people's iPhones and iPads, to be found on Google. That's the only way because, once again, things aren't going back. Things are only getting more digital, more tech savvy. And your customers, that's now the primary way that they're going to find your business. So let me stop preaching because I love digital marketing, but let's get into tonight's class. So tonight we're talking about one thing. We're talking about how to make your website work for you. And that is very important because, still, I would say only about 70% of companies have websites. Believe it or not, there are still companies out here that do not have websites. And, I can't believe it. How can you have a business in 2022 and not have a website? But still, yes, there are so many companies that don't have websites. So that's one category. And the second category, there are so many companies that have websites, but guess what? The websites are static. They update the website once a year. It's out of date. It loads slow. It's a bad experience. So where do you fall? Do you have a website? Do you have one? Do you do not have one? Or do you have one that you're updating, that you're making sure that it's providing the best experience? And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's okay to have a website. That's the first step. But the next step is making sure that website is warm and welcoming. Because one thing we'll talk about tonight is now in 2022, that website, that digital presence is the first interaction somebody has with your business. So you want that to be a good interaction. So once again, that's what we're talking about tonight. And also, like tonight, in every training, this is all about you. It's not about me. So anytime while I'm talking, feel free to type in your comments, your questions, and just like this, I'll show them on the screen, and then I'll be sure to answer your questions, your comments. But once again, feel free anytime to ask me anything about online marketing, anything about digital, and I'll be sure to stop and answer any of your questions. So I just said this, but 75% of people or customers are judging your business by your website. Let me say that one more time. 75% of people are judging your business by your website. Now, what does that mean? Once again, it means that customers are determining the quality of your business or your service off your website. I'll say it again. Customers are making decisions about the quality of your business based off your website. Wow, that's scary. That's major. So what does it tell us? It tells us if your website is crappy, if it loads slow, it's not informational. Guess what? They're equating that to your business. They say, you know what? Their business must be low quality. Their business must not be thorough, may not be up to date. So once again, they're equating how good you are at what you do to your website. That's why it's so important to have a good first impression, because guess what? If I go online and I Google your business and the site comes up that's old, that's slow, I'm not going to call your business. You're going to miss out on customers. Guess what? I'm hitting the back button. I'm going back to Google search and I'm going to find a business that looks the part. Because that's the first step. The first step in online is looking the part. Once you look the part, then the person will take the time to read your website and hopefully call or email your service. But the first step in that is making sure that you have an effective web presence that builds confidence and trust in your customers. In many ways, I like to say that your digital presence, which includes your website, social media, email, video, everything, that is the new credit score. So when you buy a car, buy a house, they judge your interest rate off what? Your credit score, right? And your credit score is a combination of different things, your payment history, your debt to income ratio, and so on. But the point I'm trying to make is they are using your digital presence as that credit score. So they are judging your business off that digital presence. And once again, if it's a bad digital presence, I'm not going to call you. If it's a good digital presence, I'm more likely to call you. So once again, having a website, having a digital presence is so important because why? That's the thing that customers are using to make a ruling to do business with you or not to do business with your company. Once again, any questions and comments, feel free to type those in the chat box below, and I'll be sure to stop and respond to those comments. So, what is effective web design? I'm going to break it down here. So, you see my screen, I have some areas I want to point out. So, first, having a website that's good is having the right graphics. So, the right pictures of yourself, the right price for your product, your service. Next thing is having a website that's functional, that works right. So they can scroll, it loads on properly, they can search, function. Next, layout. You want to make sure your website is laid out. What's the word? That it makes sense. You don't want to have stuff here, there, and everywhere. No, have your links across the top and have your pages. And if you go to other websites, you'll see that there's the kind of a flow of the websites. You want to make sure your website has that flow. And there's an old saying in an old book, and the title was "Don't Make Me Think." So when people come to your website, don't make them think. It should be a layout that's simple to navigate, a layout that's informative, that reminds them of other websites. Don't make customer think, because if they think, guess what? Then they're leaving your website. Next thing is content. People will come to your site primarily for content. They want to know about your business. They want to know about your service. They want to know where you're located. They want to know your email address. Having quality content is very important. The next part of a website is the fonts. And I always say this, you want fonts that are normal, Arial, Times New Roman. You don't want somebody to have to squint and try to see a font because it's extra fancy. No, have clean, simple fonts that make it easy for somebody to see the website and read it. And the next thing, color scheme is very important. So you want to have a website that's pink and orange, that's red and purple. You want to make sure the website is easy on the eyes. So when they come to it, it's a good experience that they want to view. So make sure your color scheme on your website it looks good, because once again, looks matter. If it looks bad, the customer is going to leave. So make sure your website has the right color scheme in there. Once again, any questions in the comments, please drop those in the chat box below. As well, if you're enjoying this, leave a comment, or even share this post with somebody else that may need this content. But once again, this is interactive, so I want to hear from you. I want to hear your feedback and your input. So tonight's agenda, we're talking about a few things. First, we're talking about how to make a website that's goal-oriented. It's all about that. At the end of the day, it's great to have a website, but your website should have a goal. It should have a purpose. We're going to talk about how you can do that. Next, you want to have a site that is search friendly. Once again, going into Google and doing a search, you want to make sure your site comes up. Next, you want a site that's convenient. And once again, convenient, it loads properly, the layout makes sense. You need that. Also, organized. We're going to talk about how to make sure your website is organized properly, from the content, the layout, the pictures. And the last but not least, biggest one is trustworthy. Trustworthy is so big. If I do not trust you, I'm not going to email you. I'm not going to send you a DM. I'm not going to call you. So a website is all about building trust and building that credibility with your potential new customer. So, why do you want a website? It sounds simple, but once again, I just said this. There's still many companies that don't have a website, or there's companies that have a website and they don't invest the time into the website. And truthfully, that's just as bad. It's almost worse to have a bad web presence instead of having no website at all. It's just as bad. So if you're going to have a website, make sure it's up to date, make sure it's informative. So why do you want a website? So first, a website, it builds your brand. I can say that your website is your home base online. It's the first place people are coming normally to learn about your business. So it's building that brand, and you're setting out that expectation in the customer's mind when they see your website. So that's the first step. It builds that brand. It gets the customer really aligned with your business, your value, and what you do. So a lot of times the website is the first conversation. And we all know the first conversation is key. So make sure you have a good first conversation and a good first impression on your website. Next, generate leads. That's right. We have a website to make business, to make sales. So you want to have a website because the website is going to allow you to make more sales for your business. I can end right there. Having a website is going to make more sales, more money for you. That's it. I don't know what else to say. Next, more sales and more leads. Having a website too, even if you don't make a sale, you're naturally going to be seen by more customers, more potential customers seeing your business that may lead to a sale. Next, it's a great way to re-engage customers. So let's say I bought a product from your company 3 months ago and I need to buy the product again. Well, now I can pull up my receipt. I can do a Google search. I can find your business, come back to you again. So also, website is good for new customers and also returning customers. And the last one is providing support. Once again, people come to your website to ask you questions about your products, your services, your hours. Having a contact form, having an email, having a phone number on your website is key because why? People want to have their questions answered. Also, it's really important to think about who is your audience. You want to try to understand your customer. Think about how they act, how they think, and where they live. That's very important. You really want to define and narrow down who is your customer and who you're trying to attract. So you want to try to see the world like they see it. I always say this, try to get inside your customer's mindset. Think about if you were your customer and you needed your product or service, what would you look for? What things would spark your interest? And make sure you have those things on your website. And also, once again, having a website, you get a better understanding about your customers, how they behave, what are their fears, what are their motivations. That's all key information that can help you not only on your website, but also in your business. And before I move on, I'm going to pause again. So if you have any questions, please drop those in the chat box. Once again, this webinar, this live virtual training live stream is not about me, it's about you. So any questions about your website, any questions about digital marketing, type those in. And even if you have a website, you want me to do a live review, a live audit, simply drop your URL of your website in the comment box, and I'll actually do a live audit of your website. So once again, I want to hear back from you. Any questions or comments? Please feel free to drop those in the chat box. So having a website too, you should have goals for your website. Something that I like to use is a SMART system. So having goals that are specific, that are measurable, that are attainable, relevant, and time bound. That's so important. So having a site that's specific, you want to be very targeted on what you're trying to do. Measurable. Try to find some way to measure that. By measuring that, I would say, hey, I want to increase views. Attainable. Something that's sustainable. Don't say you want to go from one customer to a million in one day. That's not going to work. Relevant. Something that has to do with your business and time bound. You want to set a time on that the next month or 2 months. So look on the screen here. I have some examples. So example of a SMART goal: increase unique. I'm sorry, increase unique website visitors by 20% over the next 2 months. Think about it. Very detailed. You said, what do you want to do? You had a percentage or a number and a time frame. Another one: promote seasonal products online and generate 10% more in-store purchases over the next quarter. Great. Last one: add 1,000 new email subscribers in 6 months. So once again, I think this is so important because whatever you do online, you should have a goal in mind. Because if not, then what can you measure? Why are you online? Have a goal for your website. Have a goal for your business, social media, because that way you can actually track whether you're achieving that goal or whether you're not. And that all comes down to saving your time is valuable. So making sure if you're spending time on your website on a task that task is beneficial. That's so important. So how can you measure success? Great question. So simple. Track online sales. If you're making more sales, then something's working. You can collect form submissions. So if you have an email form on your website, collecting emails and information is one way. Monitor phone calls. Are you noticing that you're getting more phone calls now from your website, from social media, from your video, from your email campaign? And also measure engagement. Once again, see how many emails you get, see how many visitors come to your website, see how many likes you're getting on social media, how many views. These things let you know the more engagement you have, that what you're doing is working. Also, a tool that I love that you can use to measure your site is Google Analytics. And if you don't know, Google Analytics is a free software that you can use to understand the visitors on your website, their behavior, and what they like. This is very important. It's a free tool that you can install on your website to let you know what's going on. And I always liken analytics to a dashboard. Can you imagine having a car and having no dashboard? You'll be driving not knowing how fast, how slow you're going, how much gas you have left. So Google Analytics is that dashboard for your website to let you know how things are working. So once again, if you don't have an account, definitely just go into Google, type in analytics, go to analytics, and sign up for an account. If you do have an account, you want to set time aside, whether it's monthly, bi-monthly, even weekly, to make sure you're reviewing some of that data, because once again, that data is giving you insight into what's happening in your business and on your website. So we're going to do a quick kind of run through Google Analytics. So one, features are real time. They have a service where you can see who's on your website right now, this moment. Also, they measure conversions, letting you know if things works or not, letting you know how many sales you're making, letting you know how many emails that you're getting. You want to measure that. Also, it measures acquisition. So where do your customers come from? Are they coming from email? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from video or so on? You want to get an understanding of where your customers are coming from. And next, behavior. You want to know what customers do on your website. What pages are they viewing? How long they're staying. All this is very important information. Okay, so if we move on to our next topic, this one slow down some because I'm doing a lot of talking because I love digital marketing, but I just want to pause for a second. Once again, this is your time to ask questions, to ask any comments you have. So if you have any questions or comments, please take the time and type those in the chat box below, and I'll be sure to respond to your questions and also your comments. All right, moving on to our next topic. So one of the hallmarks of a great website is having a website that is search friendly. And that's so important because Google is the number one search engine in the world. YouTube, which is owned by Google, is the number 2 search engine in the world. So what right there, if you want to get found online, you have to make sure your website is coming up high in Google search and also on YouTube search. That is so important. So most of your traffic is going to come from search. That's why you want to make sure that your site is showing up high in the Google rankings. So got a stat here. Once again, prove on point. 68% of all online traffic starts with a search engine. I'll say it again. 68%, which is almost 70% of your customers are going to find you not typing in your website address, by doing a search on Google and coming to your website. So once again, think about that. 68% of your customers. That's huge. And once again, that's the reason why your website has to be search friendly. Why? Because the majority of your customers, your potential customers, don't know your name, don't know your product. What happens is they go to Google, they do a search for your product, your service, or category, and they find you that way. So being found on Google search is imperative for driving more sales and more people back to your website. Okay, so let's do a breakdown of how Google search works. So I'm sure you're all seen this before. If you go into to Google and you do a search, what do you see? So first you see search query that you type in, you see the ads, organic search, and you see a business profile. So let's give you a live demo of that. So if I go to Google now and I type in my name, Sterling, let's zoom in some. Hold on one second. Zoom in some. Yeah, here we go. So this is the query right here. You see my name, Sterling. You see the results here. Normally you will see ads as well. I don't see them now. Let's try a different search. Let's try get them lawyers. I'm pretty sure ads here. So once again, you see the search here. You see the ads here. These are companies paying to have their site listed. And also here you see the Google My Business and the Google Maps. That's kind of the basics how search works. And one that the things too I like to key on is looking at the search results. And this is so key because this is really where you can see how your site comes up. So this is the site lawyers.com. You see the page title pops up, find the right lawyer, learn about your legal issue. And also you see a description of the page. And you see how the word lawyer is highlighted. That means when Google did a search of all the sites online, it found that keyword, lawyers. And it's showing the site that has that keyword, lawyers. Now, lawyers is a very general keyword, but still, it's looking for the websites that have lawyers in them, and it's showing those websites. So once again, when somebody's doing a search on Google, that's what they're looking for. This is what they're saying, and I like to say this is that carrot. So you want to have a good page title that really describes what you do. Example here, we have best Baltimore attorney firm to represent you. Very detailed, not just homepage. And then having a unique description. So it says experience in criminal courts. We see Baltimore attorneys regularly fail with their clients. We know you're up against, and we can defend you best. Once again, something like that it describes what the page is about is going to pull me in. And then guess what? Then I'll click on that link and I go to that website. Why? Because that website that searches off, it was informative. It pulled me in. It told me about that company. And that's why I went to it. So once again, that's why it's so important to make sure your website is searchable, because that's how the majority of your customers are going to find you, by doing a search on Google and finding your business that way. So what are some of the things that make your site search friendly? One, it loads fast. This is so key. So your website needs to load in under 3 seconds. I'll say it again. Your website needs to load in under 3 seconds. Now, that may not sound like a lot of time, but in a customer's mind, that's an eternity. So if they come to your website from Google and do a search and they have to wait too long, they're going to leave. Why? Because your website did not load fast enough. And it happens every day. It happens in real life, it happens online. As customers, we become extremely impatient. We want things now. It's like when you go to the grocery store. You want to find the shortest line, and you'll hop from line to line to line to sometimes save a few seconds. Your customers are the same way online. They want a website that loads fast. And knowing the website that loads fast is going to get my attention. And when it loads fast, it's going to pull me in. I'm going to view the content, and I'm going to make a decision. But guess what? If your site loads slow, I'm not going to wait for your site to load. Your business is not that important. I'm going to do what? Hit that back button, go back to Google. I'm going to find a web page that loads fast and probably go with that business. So you want to have a site that loads fast. That's very, very important. What are some ways you can have a site that loads fast? One of the big ways is having pictures that are optimized for online and mobile phones. That's one of the key ones. People have these large pictures, and having huge pictures online, that's equal load time. So try to optimize your images because that's one way you can have a fast loading site. Also, if you have video on your site, instead of hosting the video on your website, host the video on YouTube and embed it in your website. That way it'll load faster. So those are some of the ways you can have a faster loading website. Next thing is useful content. And I just showed you that in the search engine for lawyers. The sites that are informative, that are catchy, that catch my eye, I'm going to click on that website. Why? Because it's useful content, it's informative, and that's what I want. The next thing is text links. So connect the content to your web pages. Simple. Once again, if I do a search for you on Google, make sure the links on your website work. There's nothing worse to come to a website when you click on a link and the link is blank. You get a 404 warning. Make sure that your website links work. Once again, any questions and comments, feel free to drop those in the comment box below, and I will be sure to respond to your comments. Some more things where I talked about is, once again, the right page title and the right description. And if we go back to my sample here on a Google search, making sure your website, let's go to the next page, has a good page title, Maryland civil litigation, and has a good description. Why? Because this is what I'm going to see before I come to your website. So make sure you have a good title and a good description of your page. Next is information architecture. Pretty much that means how your website is laid out and organized. So if we go to one of these sites here, you see how it's laid out nice. Let me pause up so you can see it. So you see the links across the top. You see they fall down. This is nice because this website is well organized. And you want a site that's well organized because your customer is not going to spend time skimming through your website trying to find out how it works. Have a website that has a nice logical flow. So having page title across the top, having sub pages, that's better because that way you can group your content. So meet the team is all about meeting the team. Contact us is about how you can contact them as well. So very important to make sure your website is laid out in a logical way because that's going to win you more customers. Also, having a site that works well on all browsers on devices. Now, most time, if your site works well on Chrome, it'll work well on Safari. But one thing I do recommend is from time to time going on different browsers. So going on Firefox, going on Safari, going on Chrome, and testing your website. See how it comes out. And sometimes your website will look a little different between the different browsers. But Work for your designer or yourself to make sure that your website is consistent across every browser. And also, make sure your website is mobile friendly. So, once again, customers are going to come to your site via mobile phone. Simply go to your mobile phone, type in your website, your web address, and see how the experience is. If they have to pinch, if they have to zoom and scroll to find information, then it's not a good experience. You want to make sure that you have a mobile optimized website that looks good not only on desktops, but also on mobile devices. So, once again, I'm going to hear back from you. How am I doing? Is this training helpful? If so, give me a 5, type 5 in. If it's so, give me a 1 or give me a 0. So if this training is awesome, give me a 5. Once again, this training is interactive. I want to hear back from you. So if you're enjoying this, give me a 5. If so, just give me a 1. I want to know how I'm doing. And this exercise is similar to your website. You want to know how your website is doing. And the more feedback you get from your customers, the more you know about your website, the more you know that it's working. So once again, feedback has to be a hallmark of anything you do, especially online marketing, because who wants to waste time doing something that nobody is viewing, that nobody is commenting on, nobody's liking? You want to have that feedback from your audience. So moving on to the next one, a great website is convenient. I'll say it again, a great website is convenient. And this goes back to what I said earlier. Don't make me think. If a customer has to think too much, guess what? They're going to leave your website. So I got a stat here. Since COVID-19 happened, 25% of online shoppers are using mobile phones and devices, reaching as high as 44% for groceries, despite the constant access to home computers. So that was a mouthful. That was a lot. But pretty much what it's saying is, the pandemic, it changed everything. It changed work. It changed where we play. It changed going to church, everything. But most importantly, COVID-19, the pandemic, it changed your customers. It forced them to be more digital savvy, to be more mobile savvy. They were on their phones shopping, going to Target, going to Amazon, other retailers. It trained them to deal with companies that are digital savvy. So now I felt even more the onus is on your company to max their expectation, because guess what? The same expectation they have from Amazon or they have from Netflix, they don't care if you're a small business. They want the same experience from you. So it's so important to make sure that you're offering a mobile friendly experience, that your entire business is digital tech savvy. Why? Because customers are now demanding that. Once again, COVID changed a lot of things, but I believe even more, it put a premium on your business being mobile, being digital friendly and savvy for your customers. So I'm done preaching, but once again, COVID changed everything. We have to be mobile. We have to be digital savvy now. Why? Because the stakes have been raised. Okay, so how can you offer a website that is easy to use and convenient? So one, we have talked about having a responsive website. So when I go to your website, does it conform to the screen size, or do I have to pinch, zoom, and scroll to find it? You want to have a website that's mobile friendly. Next, do you accept payments? That is so key. It is 2022. You will be amazed how many companies, both online and in person, don't accept digital payments or credit cards. A matter of fact, today I was living in a parking garage, and I pulled up to the garage, I handed my credit card, and they point to a sign, and the sign says cash only. It's 2022. People aren't carrying cash around. You have to accept digital payments, whether that's using PayPal, whether that's using Google Pay. You have to to accept digital payments. If not, you're losing out on potential customers by not accepting digital payments. So that's the key for your business. Antonio says 5. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yes, digital payments are a must. We're moving to a world where we're in crypto now. Everything else, money is digital. So if you're not accepting digital payments, you're missing out on so many potential customers. Next is having personalized recommendations. Now, this can be a little hard, but you want to try as much as possible to tailor your website to your customers. So that could be creating a landing page. And a landing page is a page that talks just about a certain topic. So instead of a customer coming to the homepage and viewing all your service and offerings, have pages there set aside to talk about certain topics. So if you're a restaurant, I don't care about fish. All I care about is chicken. So you have a page talking just about chicken. I'll click on that page, I'll learn more, and hopefully I'll do business with your restaurant. So once again, offering that customized journey. Every customer is not the same. One, convenience. If you have a brick and mortar business, having curbside pickup is huge. If you don't, you should have delivery options. Once again, I should be able to buy a product on your website and have it shipped to my home or office. That's easy. We're living in the day of Amazon, the day of 2-day shipping, the day of 1-day shipping, sometimes hourly shipping. For your business to remain competitive, you must allow customers to buy products on your website and have them shipped to their house or to their business. That's a must to compete right now because every other website, big retailer is doing that. So you must want to set digital payments and then also have fast shipping to your customers. And the last one is having virtual conversations. That's like this. So doing something on Zoom or on Skype and having live chat. Those are virtual conversations. You have to have that now because your customers, they want to talk to you. So I always say you want to be something phone calls. You want to be doing chat. If you're on social media, check your direct messages. Why? Because customers are talking to you. They want to hear from you. So be easy to contact and be sure to get back and respond to those customers. So I'll give some tips on having a payment processor. So one, you want to make sure that it's easy to check out. Don't have somebody filling out a million forms on the website. Some ways you can do that is by using PayPal or Google Pay. Those make it much easier, much seamless for somebody to check out. Also, offer guest checkout. Have you ever been to a website where they make you sign up and create an account? Have an option. Let people just make a purchase as well. Okay, so if you have a website, you can test how fast your website is. And I'll give you a live example real quick. Let's use this same lawyer's website. Don't tell them I use that website. But let's do a search for the website. So the address you want to go to is g.co/test my site. Or if you go to Google and just type in test my site, the website will come up for you. So let's go here. And the first thing you do is you just input the name of your website. And once again, we're using this lawyer's website as a test. So let's put it in and let's see. So we put in their website. It's loading. It's giving me a few tips, general tips on how to get more visitors to our website. %, so it's almost done. It's going to generate a report for us and give us the information on our website. Okay, we're all done. So let's see. So this website is good. It says your mobile website had a speed of 2.8 seconds, which is pretty fast. You want to have a website that loads faster than 3 seconds. So 2.8 is very good. So no change is needed. Let's go down. it gives you more information. Once again, this site is very fast, but even by improving your load speed by zero point 0.1 second can boost your conversion rate by 8%. So once again, it didn't sound like a lot, but shutting off a second off your load time is so key to your business. Because really, you want a site that loads instantly. And one way to make a site load instantly, like I just said, having images that are properly sized, not having full width images, full size images that are 3 MB and take ever for the load. You don't want that. Other recommendations, like I said, get personal. Sites that are more personal get more sales. So once again, try to make sure your site is not general but very personal. And the last one is make it seamless. When your website is easy to use, when it's seamless, you're going to make more sales. So if I wanted to get a full printout of this, I could simply hit get your full report right here. I put in my email address, and it's going to send me a detailed report and let me know things that I can do to make my site load faster. Once again, this is called Google Test My Site. So if you go to Google search and you type in, let's do it now. Let's go to Google. Let's type in test my site. Hit enter. You'll see a few listings on here, and you'll see this one right here, my Google Test My Site. Click on that link. It'll take you back to the page. Put in your address and see from there. But an easy way for you to kind of judge, once again, if your website loading fast or not, and what customers want to see on your website. So we have about 15 minutes left. Giving a wrap up here. Once again, any questions or comments, feel free to drop those in the chat box, and I will be sure to respond to those comments. So the next one, a great website is organized. That's so key. Like I said again, don't make customers think. And having a website that is easily organized, that makes sense, is going to be that much better for your business. So, I mean by that, by having a hierarchy, by having your homepage, having your services page, have things aligned and make sense. I'll just show you that on the Lawyer's website. Group pages together that have the same kind of general theme. So once again, I don't have to look at 30 pages if I don't want to. I can see 4 or 5 links across the top. I can click on those links and find more about your business. Another way to do that is by having a call to action on every page. Also, you can have visual elements to highlight information, makes it well. Also, you can list the pages of your website. So at the bottom, on the footer time you see in the website, let's go back to this lawyer's website, see if they have it. Yeah, they have it. So let me show this. So at the bottom, see the footer. They have their homepage, the about us page, they have links. They have their social media as well. So this is on every page. So easily I can click one of the links and I can go to any page. So one big thing is you want to make sure that on every page you have that the information. Don't make me search. Make it plain and simple. Tell me what to do and how I can contact you with service. So I'm going to go on to the next topic. Is a great site is trustworthy. I'm going to go big for this. So being online is all about establishing trust and credibility. Now, why is that so important? Because online right now, online can be a very scary place. You don't know who's on side of that screen. I'm missing a website and pictures. Having a website that loads fast, that's informative, all those things, it builds credibility and it builds trust. And going back to the first thing again, when I first meet you, that first interaction, if you're building trust and credibility, guess what? Now I trust you enough to do business with you. So having a website, having a digital presence builds that trust, builds that credibility. It gives the customer the okay to do business with your company. So some ways to do that are by having a secure website. If you have a website, you should have a SSL certificate. This may be a little complex, but you can get this from anybody, from GoDaddy, any site. You want to have a site that's secure. That's very important. Also, you want to accept payments. When I go to the website and I see you take PayPal, okay, I trust PayPal. So now I trust your business. That's very important to have. Next thing that builds trust is business reviews. And this is so key. So if you have a page on Google My Business, ask all of your customers to leave reviews about your business. Reviews for your business are gold. People want to see other people's comments about your business. Why? Because that builds trust. That builds credibility. They'll say in their mind, if that customer had a good experience, I should have a good experience. So once again, there's nothing like a unedited, there's nothing like a biased source giving a review. So make sure you ask your customers to leave reviews about your business online, because that's going to help you attract more customers. Next thing is show ratings. Once again, on Google My Business, you can get a rating and review. So having a company that has all 5-star ratings, wow, that company is very trustworthy. So you want to have as many positive ratings as possible. The next thing, which is simple, that builds trust and credibility, is having contact information. That's so easy. I've been to so many sites that are beautiful, beautifully designed. I'm sure it costs a lot of money, but I can't find a phone number. I can't find an address. I don't see a picture of the owner. Simple things. Having that contact information is going to build automatically trust and credibility for your business. So winding down now, what are the next steps? So once again, like I just said, let's review. You want a site that's goal oriented. Once again, using Google Analytics, having a goal. I want to increase website views by 20% in the next 2 months. Next, having a site that's search friendly. When your customers goes to Google and does a search for your business, for your category name, do they find your website? Your website, does it have the right page titles, the right descriptions to stick out to customers? Convenient. Your website, does it load fast? Very important. Google ranks sites higher to load fast. Customers engage more with sites that load fast. Next, is it organized properly? Your content, does it make sense? Is it logical? Is it easy to read and view? And next thing is trustworthy. Once again, taking payments online, giving the customer more information. The more information you can give your customer, the more they trust you. If you follow all these steps, I guarantee you'll get more traffic to your website. You'll get more potential leads and customers. Why? Because you are following this system that is really guaranteed to bring you more business to your website. So, closing up, if you enjoyed this webinar, the U.S. Black Chambers has a ton of webinars on everything from digital marketing to sales to finance to access to capital. You can visit usblackchambers.org/webinar to sign up for this and other upcoming events. Also, this live stream is being recorded right now on different platforms. So it's on demand. So if you missed it, you came in late, I said something's too fast. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can view this and past webinars in their entirety. Also, if you want to learn more about what I said, once again, Google Grow has an entire program for you. Simply visit google.com for more training, tips, and tools. So saying that, thank you again for your time and have a good night. And I'll see you again here on next Thursday. Good night. Bye.